Hey guys. Alright, so I finally got a chance to sit down and show you some little licks that I'm doing that you all like. So I'm no virtuoso by any means, I'll admit that right out of the gate, but all this stuff I'm using right now is just all straight up just pentatonic scales. I haven't really gotten into the modes yet. I plan on it, but I haven't. Anyway, so I do the same stuff a lot, which I think a few of you noticed, so I'm just going to kind of just show you what I do and just repeat it, and I just kind of move the same things around and, just kind of makes it look good. So anyway, I'm going to start off with this one thing I do. I'm going to do everything in the key of A. So in that first box pattern, which is so that's, the box pattern that we're all familiar with. This one thing I do that I get a lot of mileage out of, that you guys all think that, I'm playing real fast. Actually, what I'm doing is I'm using a third string down on the 7th fret right here, and I'm just doing a quick blues note, swing back and forth. So, the two scales together on these two strings are, and then the next set of strings, I don't use this one, but that's going into the next pattern. So this one right here, 7th fret, 3rd string, if you can see that, there's that little blues note right here. So the scale is kind of, but that little blues note is, you can hear it. So what I do, and a lot of people do this, is rather than do any kind of like hammer on or pull off, it sounds better if you do this. And if you combine that with a pull off and then some other notes after it, you get something like this. So all I'm doing right there is I'm just going on the 7th fret, 7th fret, 3rd string, the G string, and I'm just sliding up and down real fast, just a half step to the 8th fret. And then I quickly do a pull off when I come back. And then from there, you can take it into other places, just running up and down the scale pattern. So for example, one thing I do is, and a lot of blues guys do this, you can go anywhere from that. That's another one I do a lot. The slide up, the half step slide up, pull off, hit the 4th note, 4th string, 7th fret, and then go back to the 3rd string. So that right there that's your first octave of the A, 4th string, 7th fret. Another octave. So, you can keep hitting beginning and ending on that root note, which is what I like to do, and what a lot of people do, depending on what chord's being played. If the A minor chord is being played, that note is in that chord. So a lot of times, if in the first position, like after a turnaround, for example, when the 12-bar blues go back to the first chord, I always make sure I land on either that note or the root note there, and if you wanted to, even the octave higher. that second pattern. So basically, again, I'll do it at speed and then slow it down. So it's all going back and forth between the first, second, and fifth patterns of the pentatonic scales. So to slow that down, this is what I do. So that's one that I do. Another one that I do a lot of, I don't intentionally do it, it's more like, you know, my brain is just kind of programmed, is in that second position, the second position of the scale is, well, a lot of times I'll do this a lot. Oops, sorry. And then again, I use that blues note, so I do this a lot. I'm starting on that 3rd string, 9th fret, and just kind of doing that little triangle shape. Blues note, hammer on, pull off. Back to the root note of the A. That's another one that I do a lot. Let's see. Another one that I do, again, if you... I'm going to do this in now the key of E. I like the key of E a lot too because you get a lot of the open strings. So again, first pattern of... the E pentatonic scale, you know, would be. So a lot of the times I do this real fast, and this is just something I've got good at, or gotten good at rather, so this is just something that would take some practice over time. But basically, this is what you guys have seen me do. So that sounds complicated, but it really isn't all that bad. It's a speed thing, yeah, but I've got the camera kind of angled so you can see my picking hand at the same time. But what I do is it's very simple. It's just it's a hammer-on, pull-off kind of deal where I'm going. And because we're in that first position, you know, you've got the second position of the E is, but you've got that blues note in there, which I love to use because I love these half-step quick slides. So just like down here, I'm doing it down here. Except this time, I throw in a little bit of a different, you know, kind of lick thing where I'm basically doing a hammer-on and pull-off. So, like, again, it goes. So it's the hammer-on. Again, slowly. That's another cool thing I do when I'm playing in E, is I try to end some of these licks on a bend of the the G note right here, and then I hammer on real hard without picking an E chord, and then hit the bottom strings on an upstroke. It just, I don't know, it sounds kind of cool. Except I missed it. So that it's kind of subtle compared to the note you're being picked. So one other thing I forgot, I do a lot of, I guess you'd call them the double stops. I forget what the actual name is, but it's the, I kind of combine it with that little slide thing I do where I go. So I do the slide on the 3rd string where I just slide up the half fret to the blues note, come back off, and then hit the 4th string right next to it, and then come back to the 3rd. So if you watch my pick hand and watch this hand, I'll do it slowly. So it sounds like you're playing super fast with a lot of notes, but it's really just some slide work, and then you're only picking a few times, and once you get the kind of, I guess the feel of it down, it comes like real easy. And then again, back on the A, I'm doing the same thing. Turn a little bit, you can see it a little better. The other one. Back in A again. There you go. Hope that helps. Let me know if you have any questions.